wearing like basically lingerie.
Or bikinis or something.
Yeah, and they're all,
I'm lonely. Call me.
the big lips.
And then it'd be like $4.99 for the first 3 minutes, and then the call is $6.99 per minute.
Yeah, and I'd be like, what the damn, that's a lot of money. And you would often hear stories like this where people are dropping, they get addicted to it or they really like doing it, and $800, $900, $1,200 a month on phone bills.
Have you ever called a phone sex line?
I have not. I wonder what it would be like.
Ring, ring.
Hello. Hi there.
Hey, what's your name?
My name's Darla. What's your name, big guy?
Joe.
Oh, hey, Joe.
Hey.
I've been thinking about somebody like you all night, Joe. What do you look like?
I'm 6 foot tall, and I got dark hair and dark eyes, and people tell me I look like that Jason Momoa fella from Game of Thrones.
Oh, God, Joe, you sound so sexy.
Yeah, I'm pretty good looking.
Oh.
So, what about you, Darla? What do you look like? Are you blonde? Or are you redhead?
Which do you like, Joe?
I like redheads.
Oh, God, my hair's so red, Joe.
You got some big titties?
Oh, do you like big titties,
I like
Joe?
a big old butt, too.
Oh,
I'm talking like a damn Shoney's breakfast buffet, girl. All spread out before me. I'm talking biscuits, little hash brown taters, eggs, sausage, some of them strawberries you put on the top of them waffles. I want some buttery grits.
Oh, Joe, I got a smorgasbord ass for you, Joe.
Girl, I'm hungry.
You put that cheese sauce all over me.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, God, girl, that's really hot. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Joe, get you another plate, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, half seconds, Joe.
Call me Joe. Call me Daddy.
Oh,
Call me Jonathan. Call me your favorite new kid.
Oh, Daddy, you want me to freshen up that sweet tea?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Pour me another
Joe.
hot cup of coffee.
Oh, God, eat it, Joe.
Oh, God, I think I'm just ready to call it a day. Thanks for talking to me there. What was your name again?
My name's Darla.
Michelle? Starla? Darlene?
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like we're not good at
me.
phone sex.
Okay.
But I appreciate your effort, dude.
Well, I felt like I was pretty sexy.
Yeah. Well, you kind of were.
Well, you kind of was a tough customer, though.
Was I?
Yeah, going off with the buffet shit.
Well,
but I just had to go with it.
Well, we had to, yeah. Well, that's the whole thing with phone sex is you have to improv, Dylan.
So, yeah, like if Joe wants redhead, big tits, a floppy legs, yeah, that's what he gets, right?
A buffet of breakfast food at Shoney's?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like we should murder those people next door.
I know. So we're totally trying to podcast, and our asshole neighbor decides at like the most inopportune time of day to crank up a chainsaw.
Yeah, we've had all fucking day, people.
Yeah. I feel like it's a little late for this person to be out here weed whacking or whatever they're doing.
Oh, my God.
Now, you've looked into phone sex a little bit, Dylan. How much do phone sex operators make on average?
On average, I believe it was like $12.63.
That's probably something that's fallen by the wayside, right? I mean, I don't think phone sex is like as big of an industry as it once was.
Oh, my God. If they did it nowadays, a lot of it, they would outsource it to India. Okay, so I would be like, hello, my name is John. Wait, can you do Indian accent?
No.
You can't? Like, oh my goodness, it's so big.
I don't feel like you're supposed to be doing that right now because
Okay.
you're probably going to offend someone and then they're going to be like, Mountain Murder sucks, and give us like a 1-star review.
Okay.
Okay, so.
It's okay, they probably can't hear me over the chainsaw.
But I appreciate your effort, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess what now, like it's switched to more of like the webcam thing?
Yeah.
Cam girls and like texting and stuff.
I've never looked.
Digital chats.
I've never looked porn up. I wouldn't know what any of it's like.
That's a damn lie.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ch.
Although I am more of like the porn person in the relationship than you
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so he gets really into phone sex, probably with somebody who sounds like Dylan that calls herself Darla.
Hey, Mr. Pulley.
Rick would probably be into that, okay? The couple refused to get a divorce. Both being super religious and surrounded by others who were also devoted Christians, it really put pressure on the Pulleys to stay together. Both Patty and Rick felt they had no one to confide in, couldn't really openly discuss their problems. Everyone they're hanging out with is part of the church community, so I'm sure it was really awkward to try to talk about some of these problems.
Well, yeah, so, I'm sure there's two sides to every story, but I really feel like Rick's the one putting all the pressure on this relationship.
In March of 1999, the church was taking a mission trip to Romania. Reverend Sudath, who was like the main pastor of this church where Rick was working, denied Rick's request to go on this mission trip. He was concerned that like the church was going to have to pay for Rick. And he also just felt that Rick and Patty had spent basically too much time being involved with the church. Like he could just see that outside of the church, they had no life and probably noticed that maybe the marriage was in trouble a little bit.
Well, I'm going to guess as involved as they were, him working there, her there all the time, doing everything she can to help. I'm sure that other people started noticing the tension.
Well, and I'm sure, being the Reverend, he works very closely with these two.
He may have even discussed his issues with them or her.
Rick was upset, so he and Patty paid out of pocket to go on this mission trip. I mean, the couple is barely making it, keeping the lights on, paying rent, buying food, just basic necessities. But they're willing to spend thousands of dollars to go on a mission trip to Romania.
That's crazy. I mean, I just don't know why you would continue to add financial pressure on yourself. But I think for some people, these mission trips are like a status symbol or something. You know what I mean? I'm sure their intention is to go help someone in some way. But I really also think they come back and they're, we went on a mission. We went, those poor people, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think it's a status symbol, and they didn't want to miss out.
At one point, somebody recalls a shopping trip. I'm going to do that again. At one point, someone recalled a shopping trip in which Patty had gone to the Winn-Dixie grocery store where she was purchasing, food items, random grocery items. She wrote a check, and it wasn't accepted by the grocery store because of insufficient funds, which had to be so embarrassing for Patty.
Well, yeah, that's always embarrassing. I mean, even if you just need to move money around and the cards, anytime your card was declined, even the cashier looks at you like, yeah, you're some shit.
Right?
And the rest of the people in line, that's very embarrassing.
Well, and back in the day when people would bounce a check, they would tape it to the wall.
Yeah.
It would be behind the cash register.
Don't take a check from this person.
Your name might be on a big list so everyone can see your name. I mean, that's got to be very embarrassing.
Very embarrassing.
In early of May 1999, Patty was on a trip with some other church members in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. Patty was helping her friend Nancy Jackson and Nancy's husband decorate their mountain home they had just purchased. At the time, Rick calls Patty, and in this phone conversation, he tells her he's going to go to Raleigh and visit his mother. However, Rick would claim that while he was driving to visit his mother in Raleigh, he had this overwhelming feeling that an attack was about to be made on their marriage. So he pulls over at the Hyco Lake campground and does some heavy praying. Once he's finished praying, he decides to return home to Ringgold, Virginia, and not make the trip to Raleigh.
Yeah, if he'd stop the infidelity and calling 900 sex numbers, maybe their relationship would get better. Come on, Rick.
When Patty returns from her trip to Maggie Valley, Rick tells her that he also received this anonymous phone call. This is very odd. That this person calls him claiming they have knowledge of an extramarital affair that Patty is involved in.
Yeah, imagine that.
Patty tells her friend Nancy this story, and she said that Rick really wasn't accusatory at all, but more just informing her of what had happened.
Yeah, but at the same time, an anonymous call. I mean, that's just weird. I think Rick's telling a damn lie.
He's baiting her, trying to see if she's going to confess something, maybe?
Yes, something exactly. Or it's his feelings about shit he's done, giving him these insecurities. Maybe or a combination of both.
Well, don't they always say that, people who are really insecure are often the ones out doing the business?
Well, anybody that accuses all the time or what have you been doing is always wondering or thinking like that. I think definitely, usually, they're the ones doing it. So they think you must be doing it as well.
May 14th, 1999, Rick says he dropped Patty off at a cleaning job that morning. Patty had worked for maybe about 6 years cleaning houses, as I mentioned, and this was just to bolster the income, keep the couple out of debt.
She does everything.
Their heads barely above water.
She does multiple jobs and all this stuff on the side to keep them above water, and Rick's spending this crazy amount of money on phone sex and juggling bills and not telling her about the finances. It's a recipe for disaster.
On this particular evening, Rick had plans to attend a theater production at the local high school. A neighbor, which happened to be his boss's daughter, Bethany Sudeth, had asked him for a ride to the play. So when she calls that afternoon, Rick informs Bethany that Patty is under the weather. She had gone to this cleaning job and had called Rick to come pick her up early because she felt like she was coming down with a bad cold. He picked Patty up from the job, and when she got home, she showered and told her husband she needed to go on a shopping trip into town. There was an upcoming church conference. She needed to pick up a few things.
So he's going to go check out the show because he's so awesome. He's going to the high school plays. And she's going to go run some errands.
And he tells Bethany, yeah, Patty's not coming with me to the play. She's not feeling well. She's going to hang out at home. I'm sure this will be the time I get there, whatever.
Right.
Patty left the couple's house around 6 p.m. driving their pickup truck. At some point, Rick calls Bethany's mother, Judy, and asks if she's seen Patty. She hasn't seen Patty. He then tells her that the dog had gotten loose chasing a squirrel and asked her if she would keep an eye out for the Pulley family dog. He claimed he'd been outside looking for the dog. He'd been climbing up and down embankments. This rascally dog was running away. He was trying to catch him.
But yeah, are you not worried where the hell your wife's at?
Rick leaves for the play around 7 p.m. and he's driving the couple's van. By the evening of the 14th, Rick arrived home around 10:15, and Patty still wasn't home. He watched some television while waiting on his wife to get there. At some point, he takes the dog outside for a walk. He comes back in the house, notices the time, and begins making phone calls because Patty still hasn't arrived home.
It's like that's the last thing on his list, honestly.
He calls some members of the church, tells them that Patty hasn't come home yet. He thinks she's missing. Have you seen her? Have you spoken to her? Rick gets in the van, drives to Danville, Virginia, hoping to retrace his wife's steps, but he doesn't have any luck finding her. He finally decides to call 911 and report her missing. He contacts the Reverend Sudeth, and the pair search for Patty during the night and through the early hours of the morning.
So I'm wondering how frantic he is at this point. I'd be interested to know how he, if he was, if he's being casual about these phone calls. Hey, you seen Patty? I'm not sure, maybe we got our lines crossed, or sounding worried.
And this is the 90s, so people didn't have cell phones like they do today. They weren't as prevalent.
No.
If someone was missing, you literally had to get in the car and drive around looking for them.
Yeah, or the next move might be call everyone that think they might be at.
Exactly.
Right, call, and then once you get through that, that's where what the saying goes, when you start calling hospitals and jails.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like the next step.
Because there was some truth to that back in the day.
People would do it.
The next day, members of the church form a search party to look for Patty. On the 16th, a member of the church finds Patty's truck abandoned off Highway 62, but there's no sign of Patty. The truck's seat was pulled way back as though a much taller person than Patty had been driving it. Others say Rick seems really emotionally distraught throughout, these several days that Patty is missing. He's in shock. He's visibly upset during the searches.
Okay.
Cries. Very upset that he doesn't know where his wife is. Police are involved. They begin searching for Patty. A detective stops by the Pulley home and interviews Rick. At this time, Rick has scratches on his face. He tells the investigator he got the scratches while out searching for the dog. He says he dropped Patty off for the cleaning job and then headed to the high school play. However, the detective attended the same play.
Oh, so he went and saw it too.
And began asking Rick questions about the show, the plot, what happened, the student actors, and Rick struggles to answer questions about the show.
Well, that's not good.
Then the detective asks Rick to pull up his shirt, and it's revealed that he has a lot of scratches and bruises on his biceps, on his chest. It looks like he's had a struggle with someone.
Well, dude, damn, he's got the scratches on his face. Obvious, he's been in an altercation of some kind. I think that's a little more than going through the briars looking for your dog.
It was noted that Patty had gotten fake fingernails